My name is Thomas Gage and I reside in Warren, New Jersey. This video is an exercise of rights granted under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which was intended to protect and preserve the rights of we the people, to criticize our government, and to seek redresses of grievances for the abuse of power against the individual rights of the only sovereign in the nation, we the people. This is about my case, Gage versus Wells Fargo Bank, ETL, criminal enterprise organizations. And I would like to get the attention of our President Obama, and with this video to remind him his promises. I'm gonna run a little segment of video where he promised what he will do about the fraudulent action of the banks that took place.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Under the terms of this settlement, America's biggest banks that were rescued by taxpayer dollars, will be required to right these wrongs. And that means more than just paying a fee. These banks will put billions of dollars towards relief for families across the nation. They'll provide refinancing for borrowers that are stuck in high interest rate mortgages. They'll reduce loans for families who owe more on their homes than they're worth, and they will deliver some measure of justice for families that have already been victims of abusive practices. Now, I want to be clear. No compensation, no amount of money, no measure of justice is enough to make it right for a family who's had their piece of the American dream wrongly taken from them. But this settlement is a start. And we're going to make sure that the banks live up to their end of the bargain. If they don't, we've set up an independent inspector, a monitor, that has the power to make sure they pay exactly what they agreed to pay, plus a penalty if they fail to act in accordance with this agreement. So this will be a big help. Of course, even with this settlement, there's still millions of responsible homeowners who are out there doing their best, and they need us to do more to help them get back on their feet.
And they punished American taxpayers who have had to foot the bill for foreclosures that could have been avoided. With this settlement, we are recovering precious taxpayer resources, and the state attorneys general will be establishing a fund to facilitate payments to borrowers who, as a result of improper lending practices, lost their homes during the foreclosure crisis. Mortgage services also will be required to dedicate substantial resources, approximately $20 billion.
On July 11, 1997, I purchased the property Block 8601, Lot 18, located at 51 Elcrest Boulevard in Warren, New Jersey. On June 13, 2008, Wells Fargo Bank is claimed to be the holder of my residential mortgage, alleged residential mortgage, filed a complaint of foreclosure. In the complaint of foreclosure action, Wells Fargo claimed to be the holder and the owner of the note of my mortgage, alleged mortgage. I never signed any mortgage contract with the assumed holder, Wells Fargo Bank, and furthermore, no record of note of mortgage or Wells Fargo Bank owning my mortgage exists. I never sold my property to anyone, and therefore no one can claim it to be now the owners of my property. On November 15, 2007, Wells Fargo filed a motion for default judgment against me by taking advantage of the fact that my foreclosure case was allowed to be uncontested. Due to the fact that Wells Fargo did not own the legal note of my alleged mortgage, the foreclosure of my property was and still remains fraudulent. The fraudulent action committed by Wells Fargo Bank in my foreclosure cases have been nationally exposed to the public and known to me only after the occurrences of the default foreclosure judgment on my home property. Soon after, Wells Fargo Bank and Sheriff Frank Provenzano proceeded with the fraudulent action of sale and purchase of my home property. It is asserted that in this case, the legal system has allowed Wells Fargo Bank to foreclose on my property when, by law, it did not have the legal rights to do so due to the lack of legal ownership of my property, a lack of standing court. An action took by the court is without jurisdiction. Even more absurd is the fact that not only Wells Fargo had wrongfully and illegally exercised dominion and control of my property, it has been allowed to further sell my property to a third party, Mr. and Mr. Anderson, while my federal case in regard to Wells Fargo unlawful fraudulent action of sale and purchase of my home property was and still pending in federal court. Wells Fargo Bank is an impostor and had no legal right to act in dishonesty calculated for his own advantage. Wells Fargo Bank has indeed voluntarily intended to deceive others, such as the state and federal court. You're about to see now the following video is a testimony from Congressman Alan Grayson from Florida. He's gonna talk about the fraudulent action that the bank took on us with the people and how they stole our properties. Everything that you're going to see said to you in regard to the bug document, forged document, rubber signed document, false statement, and everything, and the way how the bank stole our property and how they doing it. It's happened to me. I'm one of those victims. Okay, and after his testimony, you're gonna see my document. The document they used to steal my property on August 8, 2011.
I'm Congressman Alan Grayson, and I represent Central Florida, an area hard hit by the foreclosure fraud crisis. And then foreclosing with forged documents, once the homeowner has been drained of all assets and even the will to fight. There's one set of rules for the banks and another set of laws for everyone else. Here are 4 bizarre examples. First, last summer, Fort Lauderdale resident Jason Grudensky experienced what has tragically become an increasingly familiar process all across America. His house was sold at a foreclosure sale after a bank notified the Florida courts that Grudensky had defaulted on his mortgage. The foreclosure came as a surprise to Grudensky, according to reports from the Sun Sentinel. Not only did Grudensky not have a mortgage with the bank that sued to foreclose against his house, he never had a mortgage at all. Rudensky had paid cash for his home. Second, one house in Pinellas County, Florida, saw 2 mortgage foreclosure suits brought against it because the banks didn't know who had title to the mortgage. Third, one victim with a perfect payment record of all interest and principal was foreclosed on because of a $75 contested late fee. And fourth, Tim and Nicole West were victims of a predatory loan. In 2005, a bank threatened to sue the couple if they didn't sign a refinancing offer. Their loan servicer has subsequently raised their payments from $1,900 a month to $5,300 a month, with regular forbearance fees required in the tens of thousands of dollars. Finally, the servicer refused to accept payments from the family in the name of negotiating for a mortgage modification. But instead of modifying the loan, their servicer began foreclosure proceedings. The servicer used fraudulent documents to prove that it had the right to foreclose. Here's how it all happened. Securitizing mortgages was originally a way to take the cost of the mortgage off of a bank's books. From 2005 onward, the securitization chain went out of control, and Wall Street wanted as many mortgages as it could get as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. In order to allow it to pull out more fees at every link in the chain, these subprime lenders, trusts, and banks decided to cut as many costs as possible, including the cost of record keeping. They didn't keep good records, and they violated the laws mandating that they had to file records with the county clerk on who owned what mortgage title. Instead, the banks simply digitized mortgage titles into a privatized system called the Mortgage Electronic Registry System, or MERS. And it did the transfers by trading Excel spreadsheets among the banks and trusts, rather than endorsing the notes as required by their own contracts, by state real estate law, and by IRS rules. Today, MERS is the registered owner of a security interest in 60 million properties, or about 60% of the mortgages in the United States. In fact, 97% of the loans originated between 2005 and 2008 are in the MERS system. It appears that on a widespread and probably pervasive basis, they did not take the steps necessary to own the note, a borrower IOU, which means that in 45 out of the 50 states, they lack the legal right to foreclose. Thus, every trust now has questionable legal standing in foreclosures in the overwhelming majority of states. In addition, their records were poorly kept, so servicers are basically guessing that they have the right to foreclose when they do foreclose. Obviously, the banks do not want to grapple with the consequences of trillions of dollars of securitized mortgages having no legal standing to foreclose. So they have simply created a system where servicers hire foreclosure mill law firms whose business is to forge documents showing or purporting to show that they have a legal right to foreclose. Some of these foreclosure mills have been featured in the New York Times, and so-called robo-signers, people whose names appear on thousands of affidavits. These appear despite obvious forgeries and overt omissions, and in cases where these people admit that they had no knowledge of what they were signing. The system is so organized that there is a company called Lender Processing Services which allegedly has created the means to systematize this fraud. Lawyers use the LPS system to request which affidavits and documents they need. LPS then has document mills where they can magically make an authorized vice president of whoever you need and send you backdated signed documents saying that you have the right to foreclose. Courts at first refused to believe this level of rampant fraud even exists, but more recently they've started to sanction fraud against loan servicers. Here are some examples of signature forgeries used on documents filed with the courts. These are 4 clearly forged signatures of document mill employee Linda Green. Here are 6 signatures of Christina Huang. And here are 3 obvious forgeries of Taiwana Thomas. Finally, this is a mortgage assignment filed with the recorder's office, in which the foreclosing firm forgot to put the name of the assignee. So they instead put bogus assignee. The filing firm simply forgot to change the template for whose home, which family's home, they wanted to take. This is a factory of fraud. Servicers don't make money through routine servicing. It's a break-even business. They make their money on foreclosures at $6,000 for each foreclosure through their fee. When you combine the incentive to foreclose with systemized fraud, it's rampant lawlessness. Fraud is now a big business, and it's sanctioned in part through the government, as both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are shareholders in MERS. We are approaching the point where the easiest way to make a buck is to steal it. The only way to end this plague of foreclosure fraud is to make sure that crime does not pay. I'm Congressman Alan Grayson. Thank you.
These exhibits are before the court as I speak. And knowing that I'm a victim of crime, knowing that my property has been stolen since 2011 and nothing has got done. Okay, exhibit A. This is a fraudulent deed, okay, in regard of Wells Fargo trustee on the polling. This deed came after they stole my property, after they went through a forged, bogus deed from the sheriff. They sold my house, my property, to a new owner, Luke Anderson and Lefferton. Okay, well, this document here you're about to see, it's fraudulent because was signed by a Nicholas MC, which is unknown. This is a rubber signer. This is not, it must be an employee, but I couldn't find in any record of this person. The fraudulent deed which allowed the new alleged new owner of my property. This exactly says here 51 Hillcrest Boulevard, Warren, which is my property. All right, this is Robert, senior manager of Ocean Loan Serving. It's nothing. It's not either Wells Fargo. All right, so Wells Fargo has nothing to do with these people, and then they say they own my mortgage and sold it. So Orange County. All right, what you're about to see here, you see the sign here? Is a forger signed by Notary Public. Now, this is exhibit A. When you're gonna get to the let's exhibit R, and this is following here, you will see the real signature of the Notary Public. So this is a forger sign. This is not. So this document has been registered in the county of Somerset. It's a bogus document. All right, and this is why it's a felony. Okay, this allowed the defendant Anderson to purchase a stolen property. Okay, this is a description of the land here. Again, it's my land. Lot 18, block 8601, Warren Township. Okay, this is the document that allowed Mr. Anderson to purchase my property that was stolen from me on August 8, 2011 by a forced eviction by Sheriff Frank Provenzano without a court order. Without a court order, they obtained a mortgage from Millennium Mortgage. So another fraud happened because a bank had been fraud again. There is a judge, Somerset County is a judge. Okay, now it used to be the attorney of Somerset County. And this signature here, keep this one here in mind. This is the real office of signature of Thomas Miller. So this signature here and then the following signature here proves that how Thomas Miller signs the document, okay, official document. And by the way, this is not the deed involved in my case, but it shows you the real signature here. And coincidentally, there's a name here, John Colley, E. Colley, happened to be in this, this piece of document. Because you see here, America debit Forgiveness Act. This is for robber signer. This is a list. All the robber signer names are listed, and they sign on my bogus assignment or mortgage document that was submitted by the attorney of the Fargo Bank in the Court of Law, Superior Court in Trenton, as a document for obtaining standing in foreclosure. Here, you see here, this is one of the signature, okay, Benji Tony. Here again, there is a signature of Carlos Norquio. Again, you know, there's a signature, Carlson, and Tonya, the one rubber sign is found on my document. Here, new list of different company, McDonnell Property Analyst, approved rubber signer list. It's a rubber signer list approved, being used, okay. Colston Noriko, that's the name of one find on the assignment assignment of my mortgage to Wells Fargo. And this is again Blixner Tonya. Again, these names I find on two lists and find by the federal authority, okay, have a knowledge of these two being rubber signers, okay. Now the followed document is a letter dated Monday, July 2nd, 2012, from Customer Financial Protection Board, Washington. This was sent to the from Wells Fargo Bank in response to a complaint that I did to the Consumer Financial Protection, which, by the way, nothing happened. They just didn't do anything about it. This letter basically says that they had no control of my mortgage. Here, the final exhibit is a Ministry Office of the Court of the State of New Jersey, where is a note of assignment deficiency. Means that the assignment, the following of the foreclosure had no standing because due to the lack of an important document, which stated here the assignment is a deficiency. The notary lists two different dates, okay, from the assignment of the assignment, okay, which is 6/11/2008 and 5/19/08. That's from Larry Scott. The fraudulent assignment, the mortgage, okay, which is was the date. You're going to see here June, this date is 11th June 2008, and here we got a rubber signer here, okay, and another one here, okay, Tony Merchant and Norquio Colson, right? This is what you see in it are the bogus paper that were filed in court to obtain standing foreclosure. The date is it's on May 19, 2008. The plate, rubber sign. This document is fraudulent because the notary here, okay, now the different date and rubber sign, and there's no seal, no witness. So this document could not have been a record in the county of Somerset as a register of the assignment. Okay, it's a bogus, but they use this to steal my property. The court, the Superior Court of Trenton, default is duty to protect my rights. Okay. I have further document here, Superior Court, New Jersey. Now this says here, I am a vice president. Okay, I was a vice president of Berkeley Capital Real Estate Home Servicing Attorney in fact to plaintiff. This is not a affidavit from an employee from Wells Fargo Bank. Okay, as someone the mention is an attorney for equity loan service. You can see here as a rubber signer. Okay, this person doesn't exist. There is no names. We don't know who's supposed to be the vice president of home equity servicing at that date. Okay, this was dated June 17, 2010. Okay, so this is a bogus document. Somebody just made up this document for the purpose to use in court and steal my property. The next document is about to show you, to show the court how Frank Provenzano, the sheriff of Somerset County, signs his official signature on the document. This is, okay, this signature here. So this signature here is supposed to be on the deed they swear to be truly, okay, document to convoy my property, to take away my property from me and give it to somebody else, right? So this is the signature of the real official signature of Frank Provenzano is here. You're gonna compare this to the on the deed. Okay, again, now the next document also is gonna show, right, this is Frank J. Provenzano. This is what he signed. This is a forgery. This is not our Frank Provenzano official signature. This one here doesn't match Thomas Miller signature. This is a forged signature. This is not Thomas Miller. So, but it says here, and he saw on 4th day of October 2010, this is, somebody did this. This is not from Frank Provenzano and Thomas Miller. On the 4th day of October, they were not present to do this document. Again here, this document here, the signature here, it's forger. All the signature does not match, are forged, right? And this document here is supposed to be an authentic copy of the original that was filed in Somerset County for registering the deed, right? So when you go to the next one here, this one here, over here, this one here, Thomas Miller is not. Now the next one down here, the final document is the same document that says the same thing. It's supposed to be identical, right? Now you got the different, this doesn't match with this document here, this doesn't match with this document here. So which is supposed to be identical document because supposed to be copies. Alright, and the same thing. Now the bottom, see this one here is good. I'll show you the bottom. See, this one's complete out of control. Look at this. Thomas Miller here, and Thomas Miller here. It doesn't match here. And this document says, swear before me, an attorney at law of New Jersey, on this 4th day of October, in the year of the Lord 2010, I do certify that I have examined the above deed mentioned and to approve the same and order it to be recorded. That's good. It's sufficient to conveying of the land. So that was supposed to be good. So this is a bogus document filed in Somerset County for the purpose to steal my property. And when This document and hour before, District Court Judge Fred Walson, she has many times received this exhibit, okay, and she ignored it, right? Now, Florida Department of State, I wrote a letter, right, and then I request for the document of the notary. Remember the exhibit A I showed you before, to see if the sign matched. You're gonna see how notary of Christine Figueroa, right, which is supposed to be the notary who sold and signed. This is the signature of her. This signature doesn't match with exhibit A, okay? So it tells you that she never signed a witness the assignment of the deed to the alleged new owner of my property, Mr. and Mr. Anderson. She signed again down here at this point. State of Florida, okay. Christina M. Figueroa, right? And then how she signed it. This is her signature here. Here. This one here does not match with the exhibit A. The real officer signature, supposed of Christine, the notary Christine Figueroa, is this. So if you go in exhibit A, you compare the signature doesn't match, which means who signed it, the deed and record in Somerset County was a forger, and the document is bogus. Okay, well, this is the exhibit. They are right now filed before District Court in Trenton as a motion under Rule 201. Okay, so, and I'm still waiting. This seems to me the District Court is ignoring the fact that I am a victim. I've been robbed of my property, and every day I'm being victimized. Okay, and the court is breaching its fiduciary duty. It's denied me a minimal chance to the jury. Okay, and the court cannot deny me evidence in hearing. Okay, they can just not do that. So I'm waiting for this motion to go through it. This is what you saw here as you sum of the criminal of felonies document. There are more. There are a false court order, a bogus court order they used to come to my house. This one here is the actually alleged court order that Sheriff Frank Provenzano used to come to my house on my property on August 8, 2011 and force evict me and my family tenants from the home, and eventually vandalize all the belongs that were in the house and the business materials of the company that were the tenant in the house. There's a YouTube video online that you can see and check for corrupt officer of Warren Township. You will find out the details what happened that day. Anyway, this is the Somerset County Sheriff. You can see his official signage. This is the office sign. This was Frank Provenzano signed. Okay. Now, they came to our house where this says right of possession. Okay, State of New Jersey. As I explained in the previous video, I'm gonna show you again. All right. This is what says that the judgment of the Superior Court, okay, was made, and then the Thomas Gage owners was supposed to be evicted. Right, and then nothing else. There is no about any other names here. There are 4 other people that have been never notified. Anyway, remember this one here, the alleged signature here, the August. This was alleged August the 2nd day of August 2011, and this court order was not signed as a sheriff said, by a judge. Alleged it was supposed to be the judge Mary C. Jacobson. Okay, that's what they're saying. She signed this paper, but she never saw it. I'll use this paper here, which I said, this is a forgery signature. This is not Jennifer Perez, acting clerk of a superior court. Okay, signature. Anyway, it's illegal anyway, either if it was, because it was supposed to be sealed and signed for the judge. It's first order. And I can show you the stamp here, this one here. This is the real signature of the clerk office. When you request a document from the acting clerk of Superior Court in Trenton, that's why she's gonna sign it. Okay, that's the way the office signature. So the court order was a bogus. I asked the sheriff the other day, who signed it. They came over there with the intention to throw me in the street, and that was their goal, to do what they took all the where everything used to be goes there to teach me a lesson that I was not supposed to mess up with the members of the law firm DiFrancesco. I'm showing you here. It's a motion. It's a court order from District Court Judge Fred Walson on 9/9/2011. Okay, September 9, 2011. Now you know that Frank Provenzano defaulted, and he came evicted me from my home when he was in default. The eviction, the first law of eviction happened August 8, 2011, and this court orders comes on September 9, okay, 2011, right? So August, and the next is September, okay? So the order that defendant Provenzano shall have 7 days from the date of this order to respond to plaintiff motion for default judgment, and plaintiff reply do 7 days. So and then further, after all the document that I just showed you in this video here, defendant Fargo was granted motion to dismiss my case by Fred Walson. Fred Walson ignored all the criminal evidence. So now, did Frank Provenzano commit the obstruction of justice? Sure. A pending lawsuit, a default against him pending. He came to my house in retaliation of that with bogus court orders, okay, that was not signed by a judge, okay. They came and forced and stole my property. And this is obstruction of justice. And you cannot let, as sheriff or as head of office who swear to protect the people of Somerset County, swear to protect the United States Constitution, okay? He had just war against, I swear on it. So he war against the Constitution of the United States. That's a treason. Okay. So to you, officer, to you, federal, authority, you need to take action in this case. Okay, it's your job. I am just a citizen who happen to believe in his constitutional rights. My family for 3 generations as veterans of war protect our constitutional right by laying down our life. Dear President Obama, here is a reply letter from your administration. I know that you didn't write this letter, but it's from your administration. And you said that the administration is working to provide a military family resource they need. I have been complaining to your administration for a long time now about that I am a victim of local government corruption. I am a member of 3 generations of veterans of war, and I'm being ignored by your administration. So I have contacted you, and you have replied to me with this letter. But since then, nothing has been done to help my family from this corruption, from government corruption, and now from this fraud banks. Here, as a result of your letter, if you can see, the phone letter is a reply that I received from your administration is in regard to the fraud that the Wells Fargo Bank committed on us. As you know, Wells Fargo Bank on August 8, 2011 stole our property in Warren Township, New Jersey, 51 Hillcrest Boulevard. For years I've been fighting the corruption Warren, and still I am. I brought my case many times in a federal district court. Right now, this is the letter from your administration Consumer Response Team, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Washington D.C. And they took my case and give a number case, which is 120517 00870. So since then I had a couple call and didn't hear from them no more. Last I believe sometime last 3 weeks ago, I called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to get an update on the case, and I was told that my case was done. I did not know about that. I'm still in the street. We've been thrown out in the street. Somebody's living in my house, and no one from your administration is doing anything about it. I have provided this exact document that you just saw in this video as exhibit in a district court in Trenton. It just happened to be that all my case that I filed in district court happens to be in the hand of a district court judge, Freda and Wolfson, and she's been dismissing my case since I started with my cases. So many times I contacted the Inspector General in Washington D.C. to take a look what's going on with my cases. They won't do nothing. I'm still a victim. It's been 2 years they stole my home. I still haven't got it back yet. What I need to prove, how much more I need to do to prove that I'm a victim of fraudulent foreclosure. I did not have mortgage with the Fargo Bank, and they used force. They came to our home to evict us. You can see there is a YouTube video about warrant officer corruption that shows you there was cops and sheriffs armed that day on August 8, 2011 to evict us, my family, including a two-time veteran of war. My son, he just came from Iraq. He was evicted too. He came from a war to find out that his family and himself was thrown out in the street because the corruption that is going on in our local government, Warren Township. Nobody from your administration did anything about it. My governor, Christie, is turning the blind eye on this case since I started when he was U.S. Attorney General in the District of Newark, when I was fighting corruption regarding the power of Warren. I called the FBI and I gave a file of 3 inches document at the time on a newspaper about it, which you're gonna see in the next video I'm gonna put up. I was talking about two unlawful development squeezing my property between them, but nothing happened. Everybody turned a blind eye.
Gage investigation in this country. Media Matters reported today that investigators are reaching out to a former News Corp employee turned whistleblower who testified that the Murdoch empire was engaged in illegal practices on this side of the Atlantic. In our third story in the countdown, the whistleblower's testimony could prove not only that News Corp acted illegally, but also that top officials, including New Jersey Republican Governor Christie, turned a blind eye when evidence was brought to their attention. The investigation focuses on a case against the News Corp subsidiary News America back in 2005. A competitor, Floor Graphics Inc., claimed the Murdoch-owned marketing agency used proprietary information, possibly gleaned from computer hacking, to steal clients. Floor Graphics Inc. tried to get the New Jersey U.S. Attorney's Office, then run by none other than now Governor Christie, to pursue criminal charges. But Christie's office consistently refused. So the company filed a civil suit against Murdoch's company.
If you see here on the left side here is DeFrancesco, ex-governor of New Jersey, Donald DeFrancesco, whose law firm of DeFrancesco, Batman Colley, in Warren, New Jersey, and they represent the interest of the Warren Township. Okay, so you can see our governor here, Christie, right next to him, our ex-governor Donald DeFrancesco, and they are close in anything they do. So obviously that DeFrancesco has a big role in what happened to me in my case, due to the fact that either through the court, state court, federal court, I cannot get justice. I cannot get my rights as guaranteed from the Constitution, the right of due process of law, and the right to have a trial by jury. I demand that in each case, trial by jury in all issues in my case. They never grant me that. I contracted by submitting an application, a lawsuit, by paying the district court a check of $350 to file a complaint, which complaint I contracted to have my case before a peer of jury, not by the judge, a trial by a bench. Well, this is how powerful these people are. So you can see here, this is the administration of my governor, Christie. I am being victimized by his administration, and he is ignoring my case because he doesn't want to deal with his administration people. The fact that the ex-governor of the Francisco law firm has been victimizing my family because the conflict of interest of his partner John Corley, who owns the property next to mine, and he wanted to develop it. He victimized me to obtain his development of land. So he manipulated all the planning board, the committee members, the judges. Okay, Christie, you did not keep your promise. I voted for you. I thought you had integrity, but you don't. You choose to who persecuted, to who you want to turn on the blunt hat. So you have no integrity at all. Show me that you have integrity by calling investigation upon your friend, ex-governor Di Francesco law firm. Show me that you can do that. Because there's a lot to investigate about this case. And you will do nothing about it. I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna leave now this video as it is. Hope anybody of you will do something about this. I'm not gonna stop until justice prevails. I am an American. I love my country, and most of all, I serve God. My name is Thomas Gage. Thank you.